All right. Welcome, everyone. This is Ready, Set, Reiki. Ready, Set, Reiki is a podcast about Reiki, this universal energy life force from the curious beginner to the seasoned master teacher, welcoming all systems, all lineages, and all levels. I am your guide, Tracy Seawright, as we begin this journey today live. And here with me is the Ready, Set, Reiki live panel. So I will start introducing myself. So I am your guide this evening. My name is Tracy Seawright. I am an educator. I am a yoga teacher, Reiki master, author, and creative energy behind the podcast Ready, Set, Reiki. And I'm going to go on to our one of many on our panel this evening.
Hi, I'm Rose Whippich, and I am also a yoga instructor. I'm a Qigong instructor. I'm a Karuna Reiki master, Holy Fire. I consider myself an energy alchemist because I love working with energy, and I'm also the creative energy behind the podcast, Cat Off the Mat. And I'm really excited to be here.
Hi, I'm Tara Crowley, and I'm a kid, animal, and human Reiki master with different modalities. Also an energy healer with many attunements and pendulum dowsing. And I'm very excited to be here. I also work very much with the ocean in my practice. And my website is timelessenergyhealing.com. And I'm, again, too, really excited to be here.
I'll jump in. My name is Missy Saldana, and I am a Reiki practitioner, and I am also a Yin yoga instructor. I have an opportunity to do a little bit of more creativity where I host monthly moon rituals that I embed yoga and Reiki with here at my home. And you can find some of the fun workshops that we've hosted here on Instagram at Desert Bohemian Sanctuary.
Great. Okay, I think my mic's working now. So I'm Millie Pampina. I'm the owner of Calma Naturale, which is natural calm. It's a nod to my late husband and mine's Italian heritage. I am in several modalities, a Reiki practitioner, master teacher. I also teach weekly Yoga Nidra. I'm certified in Yoga Nidra and several other modalities there, or forms, I should say, of yoga. I also work with many people on meditation and healing, and I have a active Reiki practice here, going into actively teaching coming up in 2025, and just, really enjoying my time with this group. Thank you.
Wonderful to be together. My name is Lottie, and I do intuitive healing and supporting people connecting with their more aligned self and healing some of what they're carrying personally or ancestrally. And so I find support in many modalities, some of them being a Reiki master teacher, which I love, and also some shamanic healing practices and somatic experiencing as an embodied way, as well as other modalities. And I have a separate practice as a psychotherapist as well. So honored to be here of support. Yeah.
And last but not least, me finally got on. And I love your voice, by the way, Lottie. I love it. I can listen to you all day. My name is Joanne Holstein, and this is the first time I've ever been on a panel for anything. I'm so excited to be here. I'm a Reiki master. I'm certified in yoga, and I'm just really happy to be here. And I'm on Facebook. Thank you so much.
All right. Welcome, everyone, our Ready, Set, Reiki panel. So this evening, our discussion is going to be spiritual hygiene. What is it? How do we do it? What are some techniques? So a little bit about my journey regarding spiritual hygiene. So from a very young age, my go-to and my energetic toolbox was through the church. Prayer, wearing a cross. And it really wasn't until my early 30s where things began to shift and I began to realize that I needed a little bit more protection. It happened to be, I was in my, again, early 30s, and my husband at the time, we had a home that we bought. And really looking back, there were many red flags why not to buy this home. That was a brand new home, and there were 5 investors, and 2 of the investors were getting a divorce, and it was called Raven Construction. And just the anger and frustration with these 2 as they had thrown all this money into this home. And my husband at the time was lowballing and being, quite challenging. He was an electrical engineer, so he wanted everything perfect and he was looking out for his family. But energetically, things weren't going well in that house. All kinds of glitches and things happening. One evening, I had laid down to go to sleep, and in a dreamlike state, I got up and heard the shower. Now, meanwhile, I'm sleeping. I walked to the shower, and there behind the glass shower looked like someone who had been in a swamp, just sweat. The face was gray. And I go to open the door. That, whatever that was, grabbed my throat and forced me into the next room and placed me in the top of the ceiling. Now I'm dreaming again, and then I'm let go and I fall down on the bed and I wake up from this. And that experience shook me to my core. And it was my friends who was staying with me at the time. Her husband had said, you really need to do spiritual cleansing. You need to do something else. He got me into crystals and things like that. And my friend at that time, this is like 2004, 2005, she's like, you need to try Reiki. And at the time, I was like, oh, I don't know if that's for me. But that really shifted how I began looking at things, as creating these ceremonial spaces and watching mindfully where I'm going to go and, how's the energy here. And that really began a time for me of just what can I add to my spiritual toolbox to protect me so nothing like that happens again. So there are some questions here that I'm going to ask the panel so that perhaps something that they do might resonate with you to give you tools for your energetic toolbox. Maybe there's situations where you go in and something doesn't seem right, or maybe you feel you're under some type of spiritual attack. And those were the tools. The tools that I had was the church. When I felt I was in that spiritual attack, I would go to the church. I would sit in the church and I would just pray. But as I've learned other different modalities, I still bring in prayer, I still bring in the church, but I bring in all these other things as well as kind of a preventive from it. So spiritual hygiene to me is just the same way as brushing your teeth, right? Keeping clean and just doing what you need to do in preparation so that you're not open to these other things that could possibly come your way. So our first question here is, what does spiritual hygiene mean to you? So our first one, anyone who'd like to give an answer of what it means to you. What does spiritual hygiene mean to you? All right, Rose, you're up.
Great. All right. Thank you. So for me, just having a ritual or routine that helps me to cleanse my energy. I've always been an empath as young as I can remember, and I've always been able to read other people's energies. And as a young child, I didn't learn how. So as the more I started to connect with my own energy healing, and I realized how important it was. And I also too prayer, wearing the cross. But now I just do a lot of things that are more impactful. But to me, having a ritual that allows me to cleanse my energy on a daily basis, maybe even multiple times a day as well.
Okay, very good. Very good. Anyone else who would like to add? Tara.
So really along the same line as Rose, it's really spiritual hygiene is really the practices or rituals that we take to clear and protect our energy field. And as Reiki professionals, we're dealing with a lot of energy out there. And so I think there's just a multitude, and we'll get into this later, of practices that you can use. But a lot of it is intention. It's intention, it's calling in your guides, and it's just the gratitude to have that protection. So for me, that's kind of the basics.
Very good. Very good. Anyone else would like to add? Millie.
So anyway, I I have specifically, I'm a person of I do like routine. So every day I have my routine that I run through. One of the things I've learned working with Tracy and the Reiki.org is to go through my whole energy cleansing with my geisho and my ratio and my dry bathing. I particularly like that because it lends itself deeply to me being able to recall the various prayers, reasoning, and release of that, and just cleansing myself from the day and getting rid of everything that doesn't belong to me or that really doesn't serve my best interests any longer, and just basically like a shower. I feel like I'm starting out fresh. I do that with before and after every Reiki session, be it in person or distance. Maybe because I was trained to do that, but it resonates very well with me. I also enjoy frequent Epsom salt bath and scrubs. That was another one that we learned very early on, and I keep a selection of Florida water, which I love the various scents, and as I need them throughout the day, I actually have them in spray bottles that I like to use. And even my grandson who lives with me says, I taught him to say, as this mist wafts away, take the negative energy with it. So we kind of have a little ritual that he likes to do with me on that. So he's learned that we're basically clearing our space, clearing our energy, and only attempting to only allow what's really meant for that moment in time.
All right. Anyone else? All right, Missy, you're up.
I'll quickly add. I know we have to go on. But to me, spiritual energy or spiritual hygiene is just like brushing your teeth. You wake up in the morning, you have these routines where it's just cleaning. You wash the dishes before you make food. You clean your car out a little bit, just to make it look nice. But for spiritual hygiene, it's how you take care of yourself, because before you can take care of other people's their energy or honor someone else, you need to take care of yourself. And it's in those small moments of spiritual hygiene could look like something very small as just sitting and just breathing and grounding yourself, to something big where you're working with crystals, working on yourself. But spiritual hygiene, to wrap up, is making sure that you are honoring yourself, being healthy with yourself, focusing with intention, so that you're a better person or a better version of yourself, so that you can work with others.
Beautiful. Joanne?
I just want to interject a couple things. I like this Himalayan bowl. I like to ding it around the house, and I don't know, it just makes me so happy. And like during Mercury retrogrades, I have a candle that I light, and I swear it helps with just getting some stagnate, air out. And so I like to do stuff like that, smudging.
Beautiful, beautiful. So our next question, as healers, as empaths, as those that help serve others, is spiritual hygiene important? Is it something that every healer should be doing? All right, Tara.
So I think it is. And just speaking from some of my experience with it, I had gone to a psychic fair, and this is kind of when I was just kind of starting out and really a little bit clueless about it all. And I was so overwhelmed with energy. I felt sick to my stomach. I was just very, not unhappy, but just not myself. And I just, left there and said, I am never doing that again. And it's just way too much for me. And so it is important because it does affect you. Negative energies do affect you. And after I was in a couple of car accidents and had some brain trauma, and so I really had to let go of a lot of stuff and leave it up to my guides and simplify everything. Because for me, even going through the process of remembering symbols and this and that and the process and everything was just too much for me. So I was just like, okay, I walk out this door, I'm sitting here, I have a bubble around me. I'm protected.
Mm.
And I noticed immediately a difference. I mean, so, and then you could bring in all this others, the crystals and everything, but just setting that intention when you go out, especially in crowds and stuff, is just so important. It really is. And if you're bringing in energy or working with attunements, then you also have to make sure that those are cleared before they come to you. So it really is important. It's energy. And you just want positive energy.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Anyone else? Lottie?
Oh, yes. Thank you for sharing and joining what Tara said. Yeah, I personally find it really important because as supporting other, when my system is clear and it's a clear channel, I know that, I'm not also mixing my stuff with the person's stuff. Like I'm like being attuned of what is from their point of view. I'm not bringing my agenda to their session or the time. So I think it's important in both ways. I think it's important as an empath, personally, like for some clearing before and after the session, but also as somebody supporting healing from others, such that I am as a clear channel as possible in the session. So I can speak much more about that, but I just wanted to note that. Yeah, thank you. And also your comment reminded me, I have forgotten about this, but years ago I went to a very gifted craniosacral therapist, and I entered her space, which is usually like pretty neutral, and I suddenly got angry. And I'm anger is not it's a very important emotion. It's not the first one that comes usually. So I'm like, why am I suddenly angry? And then the person said, oh, I just had a session with somebody who released a lot of anger. Let me clear this, right? So sometimes we can, like, as empath, also pick stuff from the space as well that we are. So I think as humans and also as healer, that is very important, that aspect, the grounding, cleansing, and protecting as well. So thank you.
Very good. Anyone else?
Well, I have to agree a lot with what everybody says, of course, but with Lottie, I really feel strongly when I walk into a very dense energy situation in a room. So I don't want to be part of that. My mantra with my business is peace, love, and light. And the light part really, really, really resonates with me. I understand what people bring and what they have, and I probably wouldn't have clients if they didn't. But I do try to make sure, I always attempt my very best to make certain that I'm not carrying my issues, my problems, my negativity into the equation, and that, I clear that as well as clearing them and give them what I consider to be helpful homework tips on how to continue to have that so they enjoy it. I like to live my life very peacefully. And because of that, I try these practices all day long. So a lot of breathing, a lot of everything else, whatever works for the situation. If just to say, not today, Satan, we're not going to do that. I try to make sure that I'm at least bringing, something a little bit stepped up to the table when I'm there.
Right. Anyone else?
Oh, Missy, your volume is...
No, thank you very much. I was saying, as a spiritual healer, I think it's important, or spiritual hygiene, I'm sorry. I think it's important because as teachers, we're coming into a space where we're asking those that we work with to practice themselves, to walk away, with our words of wisdom or, just some advice. And as teachers, we need to practice what we preach. And it's important, with every time we cleanse ourselves, we're preparing ourselves and we're practicing and we're only refining our practice and we're getting better at it. And so it's words of wisdom, practice what you preach. And yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you never know what a client's going to intentionally or unintentionally bring through your door, right? So it's good to have that spiritual cleansing happening in a ritual. Anyone else? All right. Well, let's go on to our next one. So, do you wear anything specific that helps you? Do you wear bracelets, jewelry, something on your body to help you as part of your spiritual hygiene? Rose?
I'm actually wearing it right now. I wore it on purpose, but I have a labradorite.
Mhm.
So that is a protective stone. There are many crystals, but when I wear this, I feel it also grounds me. And I think part of it for me, because I just feel I'm so up here all the time, being an Aquarian as well, that I'm floating, that this helps ground me as well and makes me more aware of when my energy is just not in balance. So,
Beautiful.
yes.
Beautiful. Anyone else like to share? Tara?
So I do. I like the jewelry too, and I love wearing quartz because it just gives me such a clear, fresh feeling. I just have a great story about one of my Reiki teachers. I had talked to her about that psychic fair that I was telling you about, and I said, and she goes, "You really?" She was like, "I'm just feeling that you should be going to these psychic fairs. I just started up my business and everything." I said, I'm not really sure." And she goes, "Just get a couple of hematite palm stones, throw them in your bra, and head out." And she goes, "That's magic." She goes, it's protected her in everything she does. And she does a lot of work with crystals. And I just thought that was a great idea.
Very good. Very good. Anyone else? Missy?
I literally have a quartz in my bra right now, and that's what was funny. It's right. I'm not going to reveal it, but it's there.
Jiggle, 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 right?
I do too.
Yeah. Millie, our teacher, Mia, was the one that always said, put them in your bra.
Yeah.
Put them in your bra. Put them in your
Yeah.
bra.
I recall I was at a Reiki.org conference, and we were all supposed to, I didn't know, or I didn't read, bring a rose quartz, and everybody's like, "Do you have a rose quartz?" And you saw everybody in the room go and check. And I was like, "No, I got others, but I don't have that." So, but I do like white. For some reason, white resonates with me, and clear quartz. I have all kinds of, just love them, because long before this, I used to really enjoy feng shui and things like that. So I really enjoy that. I trust in it. I believe in it. And I'm also wearing white quartz earrings right now because I love, even have a white fuzzy mic here. So for some reason, that kind of like grounds me and brings me to it, and makes me know that, I need to keep things clean and tidy and in sync and watch what I do. So
Beautiful, beautiful. Anyone else? Joanne?
I like to wear selenite. We got that from Carolina. There's like the pink and the white. So I wear it every day when I go to school, when I work, and
yeah.
it doesn't matter where I go. And it just makes me feel like I'm okay. I'm protected, and I don't have to even think about it.
Right.
So,
And even adding around your space, your computer, things
yeah.
like that, you're still needing that spiritual connection to as you're working and doing spiritual work online as well.
Mhm.
So our next question, is there any specific ritual or practice that helps you feel grounded spiritually? Something that it's just not going your way, or you just feel vulnerable, that this is your go-to to really ground you.
Mhm.
All right, Tara?
I just love the tree. You know what I mean? Pretending you're a tree, putting the branches out there, reaching for the divine light, and just feeling the roots coming down your spine and right into Mother Earth, and get that reciprocal energy back. So that's really a go-to, for me, for the grounding piece of it.
Good. Millie, you had one?
Well, I agree. I like meditation, and I can, I can meditate anywhere. Frequently, people think I'm asleep. I'm not. I'm just clearing it out and saying, let's get on with this. I acknowledge that there are issues, but I'm going to have peace with this, and I'm just going to take a moment now to do that. So I really do fancy meditation. I also do transcendental meditation daily, and I really I really promote that with my customers and with others. Just you take 5 minutes. It's not something you have to be verbose about or have a guided tour or any of those things, which I love, 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 love to do, especially with yoga nidra and those things. But I just like the peace and calmness and quietness that it brings and allows me to restructure my inner thinking.
Beautiful. And Lottie?
Well, this will be an evident one, but Reiki. I love Reiki for this, So either before or after a session, when giving a session, or just in my life at the end or beginning of the day. Or honestly, if I go to a place that has a lot of people, even the supermarket, like I'm a sensory sensitive empath person. So I do some clearing before and after, So I would say Reiki, and which is easily available. And I do love nature, and we are nature too. So when possible, walks, and I love the trees as well. So that's super helpful. There was a time that I was in a space that walking in nature was not so accessible. Well, sometimes still not, but and so I would like bring to where I was maybe a little bowl of water or some, as if some flowers wanted to come, and so asking for support in the clearing as well, and the guidance as well. So yeah, thank you.
Very good. Anyone else? Rose?
I wanted to mention that one of the practices that has really been life-changing for me in a lot of ways, it has been Qigong. Qigong is very grounding as well. I know we move the arms, but I could just stop anywhere and do some Qigong movements that ground me. And what's nice is that I also teach others, and not everyone will have Reiki or want crystals in their bras, and just teaching them. And I love all those things. I do the same thing, but just being able to teach a couple of movements for someone to really ground themselves is really helpful. And I've used Qigong also to protect my energy, because there are ways to protect what we call Wei Qi, which is creating a defensive, like almost shield around you, like that imaginary bubble. And it's really amazing as to how it works. The more you work with it, that you can actually almost create this, it's like you can feel that energy around you, that protection. So I just wanted to mention that is really important practice for me. So yeah, thank you.
Oh, thank you for mentioning, Rose. Yeah, I also like Qigong and Tai Chi are beautiful. And I also yoga as well. And also like those are practices that are also more embodied. So it's that combination of energy and matter, And so I do find that really helpful as well. So,
And it helps you become aware of what's out of sorts in your body.
Yeah.
And for me, it's really has had some really life-changing experiences for me. I won't go into, but I just wanted to kind of almost introduce it as another modality that I like to integrate. Even when I do Reiki on students, I have them do some movements or some Qigong related breath work, and I find that it's really helpful with the session, the subsequent session after the Qigong.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Rose.
Thank you.
Anyone else want to add anything? So we're giving you lots of good advice. We got yoga nidra, qigong, right? Yin. So yeah, use what feels right for you. It's going to be different for everyone. So next question, is there a specific place or maybe even a particular person where you really have to do your spiritual hygiene either before or after you either enter that place or you're around that person? I know Walmart gets a bad rap. It's always poor Walmart. Tara.
I just think it's basic. I just think if you get into a daily practice, then you don't have to worry about it. But for me, if I had to do extra protection, it would be at psychic fairs or where there are a lot of energy healers and But it could just be, like you said, a person coming into your office just carrying a bunch of negative stuff with you. So if you just get that daily intention and whatever your practice is, and it can be very simple. I really think you can pick up negative energy anywhere, but especially in larger crowds and stuff like that.
Yeah, very good. Missy?
For me, it's airports. I travel often for work, and I almost every 3 weeks I'm in an airport, and I find myself it's helpful throw on the headphones and listen to some frequencies, do some breathing, and just go with the flow. And I have to remind myself it's okay. If someone jumps in front of you, it's a reason. They're testing your patience. What are you learning? Just go with the flow.
Good. Rose?
I find that when I go to the doctor's office or these medical buildings, which we have a lot of here, that I need to do that. And mostly because I'm an empath and I do really sense a lot of feelings that people are going through. And it could be that, there's a lot of emotions that are going on around medical facilities or hospitals. So those are places that I find important to protect my energy before going in them.
Good point. Anyone else like to share? All right, our next one. How can you tell when you have missed taking care of yourself, when you've missed a few days of spiritual hygiene? What are some signs that you may see around you or feel? Millie?
I become impatient. That's one of the first things that I begin to feel for sure. And I say to myself, I'll try to run through at least the 5 Reiki principles because they resonate so strongly with me, at least to get myself through a certain situation. And I also like to use the serenity prayer quite a bit. So that'll also help me, center myself and move forward until I, can get to a point where I can take the time, relax, and tune into that.
Beautiful. Anyone else? Lottie?
Yeah, I think I become very tired, like overwhelming tired. Like I feel like a overall tiredness. Yeah, and also like knowing like that we're all human. So there are times in life that are more overwhelming than others, and even though we don't do it as often as we would need. And the other thing that come to mind, like if I am, there are times that my system would benefit from the support of somebody else from doing that clearing. Like if I'm very overwhelmed or tired or things are pretty rough or just, it's hard for me to have a session with somebody for her clearing, even though I usually can do it myself. But there are times that stuff is very sticky for whatever reason. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that. Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else? Tara?
So all of that too. And for me too, it's a little bit of irritability. And there's also, I think I kind of lose my boundaries because it's like, okay, what's my energy? And what's the energy that's around me that I don't want around me? And where is that boundary? So I get that confusion too sometimes when I don't regularly do, the hygiene practices.
Okay. Anyone else? Missy?
For me, it's when I start to question, wait a minute, is this perimenopause or do I need a spiritual hygiene cleaning, right? Like, is it the irritability? Let me center myself. And that's when I start to question. And also my kids, they're quick to be like, Mom, something's different. You need your room. Go do your incense and crystals.
Very good. Anyone else? Joanne?
I don't know. I get anxious or worried about things a lot more than I ever should about silly things, And so that's when I'm like, okay.
Right. I seem to get tired, and overwhelmed. So Tara had mentioned about boundaries. So do you find that actively setting boundaries to protect your energy from draining situations helps your spiritual hygiene? Tara? Or Rose.
Okay, just real quick. Yes, and I forget to set those boundaries sometimes. I
Mm.
feel those boundaries are different than the setting the intention to clear my energy, because but it can be the same. But for me, it's knowing when it's me versus someone else and not overstepping them. So it's hard to explain, but yes, when I don't set my boundaries, I definitely get sucked in and start to deteriorate as far as my energy is concerned.
Do you
Yeah.
feel that this is an issue because you're an empath?
Yes, absolutely. And I've just recently, in the last several years, really learned about that I'm an empath, because I started feeling emotions and things that are not me, and I started to realize, wait, this is not me. So I'm working with that a little better now, trying to
Sure.
manage that.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Mhm.
Anyone else? Lottie?
Oh yeah, I find like thank you, and thank you for sharing, Rose. I find that boundaries in all senses are important. Like actually, the spiritual like hygiene is part of a energetic boundary, right? So I think for me it's also important that be in relationships that feel right. And so to set those boundaries, and they don't need to be a wall necessarily, unless they need to, but it's more like, how can I be in relationship in a way that is respectful for myself and the other person? So I think it's very important, personally and just energetically as well. Yeah.
Okay. Missy?
Lottie, I love that you said that about relationships and how you feel with your energy and interacting with others. And for me, I know if I'm in the space, I'm sure it echoes with you all here too. You just feel it and you forget, like Rose, you were saying, you're an empath. It's easy for them to suck it that way. And you're like, you're letting them take it and you forget to bring it back. And, I mean, do you remember that movie Labyrinth from the 80s? She has that scene where she's like, you have no power over me. You have to like snap yourself and like remember that and like give it back to me, and then you recharge yourself. But you're right, Lottie. It's in how you feel with the people around you in those relationships.
Very good. Rose?
Can I add to that too? I mean, there's people like, we talk about energy vampires, but there's people that and you were saying about pulling, but I was thinking about cord cutting, because there's some people who you have such a strong connection to, whatever it is, could be past life. And, there's a point where you need to physically, and I know, Tracy, you have scissors and you'll cut out there and you cut those cords, and you have to. And that is a way of cutting those and creating those boundaries intentionally, and that's important to do as well. And just being aware of that, and sometimes you have to cut those cords a few times because they grow back.
Yeah.
So yeah, so thanks for everyone mentioning what you did. This is hot topic.
Yeah. And, as an empath as well, cutting the cords sometimes didn't do it. So bringing in that holy fire, that spirit, right, release where it heals that part of you that it attached to. So I needed that. That resonated with me more because, okay, that's it. I've had it, chop, chop, chop. And then it would start to grow a little bit, and then you get convinced, you're like, oh, okay. And it's a little people pleaser as well in it, and you kind of get sucked back in and reattached. So, there's tools out there to use to help you, with your practice. Lottie, do you have something you wanted to add?
Oh no, thank you. You read my mind. I was going to, or we like connected in the ethers, but I was going to mention the holy fire piece that then the spirit release. Even if it's not a spirit, if it's in cords or energies, like it has these two parts: the releasing the energy and also healing one's being, of what allows that to stick. So,
Right.
yeah.
And then you probably notice everyone here, we're all holy fire.
Yeah.
So we all have that connection. So so use the tools that are out there, the resources. Anyone else want to share?
Well, I'm sitting here quietly because this is a subject that I always need to have more input in. So thank you all. Because
Yeah.
one of the ways also that I try to heal or clear my energy is I go get treatments. I take a class. I, get myself adjusted, because sometimes no matter how hard I try, I'm not cutting it. So I like to go see others and join in on others what they're doing. But thank you all for your feedback and input. It's boundary setting for me is a bit of a challenge, and I always I'm learning every day and accomplishing more every day with that. So thank you for all your feedback and input.
Yeah. And you make an interesting point, because the conversation is more about like what we can do, but going to others, seeking other healers, or doing a trade, or going out and taking a training, or, I'm going to go take this particular meditation class. And so things to kind of feed your soul, fill your cup up as well with that. And it can mean slowing down as well, taking the time to listen to the frequencies, journaling, right? Going out and hugging that tree. So these are some different things that resonate for you. Find your just right. Anyone else? Oh, Lottie.
Sorry, a quick thing that came to mind. It's a small thing, but it might be helpful for somebody. Like, I also have, like, when I have gotten sessions with for myself with other qualified Reiki practitioner, sometimes I can get a recording, right? So I actually have a recording of some spirit release, or I have a clearing. So I do it myself, but sometimes it helps to play the recording, actually, that, like, if I'm too tired or something like that, and I cannot book a session immediately. So if somebody who's listening is working with a Reiki practitioner, they could potentially ask for that support and that recording to have it handy when needed, as well. Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. Anyone else? Tara?
I think just one more thing to add that I found that's really helpful is the mindfulness of being in the moment and being aware. And I know I can get so caught up in the busyness of planning and scheduling and writing and doing this and doing that over and above family stuff and, just life in general. So I just find really taking that step back sometimes and going to the breath and just pulling my energy close and really being mindful of where I'm at. Even to do that for a minute is enough to bring my focus back. And then again, that with me helps with the boundaries and setting limits and everything else.
Right. So you figure, like, before you head out the door, right? You have your phone, you have your keys. What else are you doing, right? It's raining out. You bring that umbrella, right? What is the weather? What type of shoes are you going to wear? So adding in that type of spiritual hygiene, as we said before, like brushing your teeth, right? Making sure your clothes are clean. So that can be a part of just, your practice. Anyone else? All right. Lottie?
Oh, just an invitation for self-compassion. So if anybody of us or anybody who is listening at some point is like, I'm human too, right? So it is important to do this cleaning for me every day and multiple times per day. But hey, life happens, and sometimes it's a bit more chaotic than others. So, and just some self-compassion that if one is not able to do it as much as needed or would like it, one can always come back to it,
Sure.
some self-compassion in
Right.
the process. Yeah.
So Reiki practitioners level 2, you can use that distance symbol if you forgot, right? To send yourself, that spiritual hygiene in the past, right? Or maybe even into the future. So our next one, what is one thing spiritual hygiene wise that you do every day that is just like non-negotiable? Like it has to be done every single day. Do you have one type of ritual practice, something that you have to have on your body, as you leave the house? Tara?
I love crystals. So I have a big chunk of rose quartz on my stairs. I have selenite, a big chunk of selenite under my desk that I put my bare feet on when I'm working. I have pendulums all over. So for me, it'd probably be my pendulum, because I can just get that going just to clear the energy and everything. So the crystals are really my go-to every day. As much as I try to take time for the meditation, definitely take time for breathing, but that to me works the best.
Very good. Rose?
I wanted to mention two things. One thing I do to clear my energy that I do every night is, those lint brushes? Well, I imagine that I'm linting my body and I'm peeling off everybody that I met from the day. And I teach my students this, and it helps me to sleep better. And the other thing I wanted to mention is that, at my office, when I get a lot distracted and working and busy, I make sure I clear the energy of the room often, because even behind the doors, in the closets, and the corners, and the bottom of the desk, and I find once I do that, everything just, there's more clarity. So I wanted to mention like space clearing as well. That is
Sure. Whether it's the Florida water or blowing the cinnamon out the door, right? Going in and cleaning things.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's even beyond yourself too. Sometimes the room doesn't feel right and you need to shift and move and change something. Yeah. Very good.
To my husband's office, when he goes out and he's not in his office upstairs, I go in there and I clear his energy.
Sure. Yeah. The sound bowl. Right. Very good. Lottie?
I was just excited imagining cleaning the space, but I was going to say, but I was just, I speak with
very
my mind.
good. We love your energy and excitement. Wonderful.
Yes,
Wonderful.
but space cleaning is really important for me. I think
Wonderful.
I didn't explicitly say it, so thank you, Rose. I think for me, it's just part of the deal. Like I do it every day as well. So thank you. Yeah.
All right. Wonderful. Missy?
Every morning, I shower every morning, and I am in there, Reiki that water, just like I guess how Rose ends her day with the lint roller. I start it with a bathe me and just greatness. It's going to be a fabulous day, just speaking to that water, doing that Reiki as it's hitting me. And I also have to journal every day. If I'm on the go and if I'm in the airplane and I don't want people seeing my whole journal, I'll get that napkin and just a few words. Like I have to physically write words down.
Very good.
Yeah.
Millie, did you have something you wanted to say?
Oh, yes, but I saw Joanne put her hand up. I didn't put mine up. So go ahead, Joanne.
Okay. It'll just be a second. Thanks. I like to do set my intention for every day. I'm telling you, the days, like the years that I've never done that, my days have just been awful. Just absolutely like an avalanche of just downhill. But now I'm beginning into a practice that, Tracy and Carolina, and it makes a world of difference. And then also adding gratitude also in there. That's wow. It's hard not to do that and have a good day for me.
Yeah.
Very good. Thanks.
Yeah. I do something very, very, very similar, although I love my crystals and my scents and all those things. I do carry a small bottle of spray with that I might just walk out of a store somewhere and just stand in the parking lot. So they probably think I'm disinfecting myself. And that's okay too, because I am in a sense. But setting the intentions in prayer or something, when I go to leave for the day, I try to gauge. I don't actually leave for the day. I leave several times during the day. And I work on gauging what's out there ahead of me. And I also sit in my car and I use my Reiki symbols and I breathe them in. And I envision myself blowing that Reiki energy out in front of me as I'm driving, just to so I can drive through it and just feel, that lightness that I get from knowing that I'm turning the energy on. And, I do that quite frequently during the day just to say, am I, feeling what I should be feeling, do what I'm doing. And, if not, how do you adjust? So, and that's also what I teach my students too. And I always say to myself, if I'm not doing it, how can I be convincing with them? So that's, but that is some of the things I like. Carry big, clear quartz crystal in my bag. I also carry a little statue of Jesus, and I carry my bottle of sage spray with some other things in it, cedar and lavender and whatnot, and just go for it.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else? Well, one of the things that I had when I was 16 years old, those of you from Pittsburgh may remember a mall called Century 3 Mall. My mother had gotten a cross for me at the J.C. Penney's at the Century 3 Mall.
Mhm.
And I had it for many years. And that was always my go-to, that I would hold the cross here through many different challenges. And speed up ahead, it's my daughter's now 25 years old. But when she was 8 years old, she felt like things were coming and she was seeing things and she was getting very sensitive and very upset. She didn't want to go to school. So I let her wear this cross that I had had since I was 16. And she had lost it by recess, gone. Did not have it. She was afraid to tell me, and she came home and told her dad, and my husband went with a metal detector and walked around the playground to find it. And I just prayed, because then I didn't have the tools I have now. And I'm like, how am I going to find this, right? J.C. Penney's, right? And I was 16 years old. Where is this? And through continued prayer and just a series of synchronicities, I found one on eBay. And I was able to replace it. And so I have it here today that I wear. So I never take it off unless I have a medical thing that I have to do that it requires it to come off. I wear bracelets. Those help, specifically on my left hand here. And just bringing in the Reiki. One of the things I learned from Reiki.org from Colleen is making that holy fire symbol and bringing it in like it's perfume, like the essence. So every time I leave the garage and go out, I make that symbol, bring it in. And right before I come back in, I do it as well. So those are some things that I bring in as well. Well, that was our last question. And as we are wrapping up, that final thoughts, anyone has something that they would like to share before we sign off for our spiritual hygiene discussion?
Yeah. Just thank you, everybody. Your input was very meaningful and educational for me. So I want to talk to you, Rose, a little bit more about Qigong and some of those things. So I'm very interested in that.
Absolutely. And thank you, Tracy, for bringing us together to share our insight. It's always lovely meeting and learning from others. I learned a lot this evening.
Yeah. We all are here for a reason, right? We'll find as we slowly connect with each other. I've had the pleasure of, collaborating with many of you here, and you'll slowly see as you connect the similarities.
Yeah.
So making sure everyone got to say what they needed to say or wanted to leave the listeners with anything.
Yeah, thank you, Tracy.
I just wanted to thank you. Yeah, thank you for the listeners too. Thank you, Tracy.
I just want to say, just keep it simple and keep it daily. And I think that's, where I'm at with that.
Yeah. And let your intuition guide you as well. Don't worry about what's in a book or what someone else said. Just guide you by what feels right for you.
And that's that Goldilocks. Find your right one, whether it's slowing down, whether it's adding play, solitude, journaling, crystals, sound bowls, yoga nidra. There's so many different things out there. And then just with our expansion of technology, we're able to see videos and fall asleep to it and, make it a part of your practice and see, in the very beginning, I didn't have all these tools. I recall, when I was dating my husband, he took me out to San Diego and he took me into this house and I felt like something was around my neck and oh my goodness. And then I found out that, someone got hung there on the steps. And I just felt the energy and I didn't know what to do other than praying. But now, as I'm older and learned, now I have the tools. Okay, this house is haunted. Let's sit up here, right? Let's get it together and let's clear afterwards. Lottie, did you have something you wanted to share?
One thing, just in case, and a bit of like what Rose was sharing with the Qigong. So I think each person, we're all different, right? And so for what worked for me, might not work for somebody else. So some people are more kinesthetic.
Sure.
And so some people might need more movement. And some people, might be more abstract and might need, the energy piece, or some people might need tangible objects. So I think there is an invitation to all of us and to the listeners as well to try different things and honor your own wisdom and what feels right for you. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even
Absolutely.
teaching the students, you know, the pillars of Reiki and having your hands in Gashi Ho. I had a student that says, well, I don't like doing that. Then that's okay.
And
It's
don't
going
do
to
it.
work. It's your intention. Place your hands somewhere. That's sometimes people need that ceremonial. They need to place the hands there to, you know, have it and, you know, do what it needs to do. So that's what they need. So that's a very good point.
And I just do, I want to mention that Tracy does this amazing ASMR thing on Friday nights on Insight Timer. And that sound also is a way to clear energy.
Sure.
It has, and I haven't done it in a few weeks because I'm tired by 10 o'clock. But when I do it, I feel so restored and so much better. And so I just wanted to say, if anyone hasn't done it or tried it yet or listened to it, go and do it because it's really
and there's some on TikTok. Yeah, there's a lots of great resources. Carolina Goldberg, she does channeling. Cindy May Erie does a free every Wednesday yoga nidra with sound bowls. Millie also does a yoga nidra, and it's free on Thursdays on Feather Sister, and she does a healing circle once a month. So
Beautiful.
yeah. And Missy, where is your
All are welcome.
your moon in El Paso?
Here in my backyard, and I have a wonderful backyard lake overlook El Paso. It's a nice little mountain backyard.
Right. And Tara also has a Holy Fire Ocean meditation coming up on Monday. So.
Yes, beautiful.
Very good. All right, our wonderful listeners. Hope that we helped you here on your journey as you move forward. Thank you so much, everyone, this wonderful panel of guests for all of your wisdom, all of your knowledge. Thank you so much. This has been Ready, Set, Reiki, and I'm Tracy Seawright. Thank you so much.